What is up, my people? We have to talk about the Democratic Republic of Congo, a country that is embroiled in turmoil, a country that is reeling from decades and decades of conflict and war. Lately, Congo is back in the news because they are now courting Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, with a mineral deal that is absolutely unprecedented in history. Congo is basically offering the United States of America exclusive mineral rights in their country in exchange for protection of those resources from M23 rebels. We got to get to the bottom of this. We're going to be here for a good time, but we're not going to be here for a long time. So we might as well get straight into it. Let's tap in to get the facts.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has offered the U.S. exclusive access to critical minerals and infrastructure projects in exchange for security assistance. This comes as it battles Rwanda-backed M23 rebels along its eastern front. Bloomberg's Ndiro Oganga joins us now from Kigali. So, Ndiro, we know that Congo is rife with resources. What exactly are they offering to the U.S.?
Hi, Jen. So on top of exclusive extraction, they're also offering export rights that will ensure direct and stable supply to key industries in the U.S. like technology and also defense. What's also on the table is the operational control of banana deep water development, ensuring American oversight of the mineral export hub. They're also willing to partner with America to ensure that they develop a strategic stockpile of Congolese minerals that will go a long way in enhancing not only economic but also security resilience of the United States of America. And in a letter that the DRC sent to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, they say that the country has 24 trillion in terms of untapped natural resources, including critical minerals, and they supply 70% of the world's cobalt that is critical for aerospace and also defense industries, plus other tech-related industries. And they also say that they have some of the largest deposits of lithium, tantalum, uranium that are vital for the next generation of military application and also energy independence. And where the U.S. comes in is America has identified 50 critical minerals, and DRC has large deposits of 10 of those. On the 20th of January, we saw President Donald Trump signing the Unleashing America Energy Executive Order, which made securing some of these critical minerals a little bit easier because they'll be made a priority. And so by allowing access, what the DRC does is it ensures that the U.S. has stable supply, but also goes a long way in reducing Chinese influence in the mining industry in the country.
Yeah, and it's interesting timing given the U.S. is looking to Ukraine, too, for minerals. Ndiro, when we talk about the fighting in the eastern DRC, how is that affecting mineral exports right now?
Jen, for starters, the perception towards Rwanda is becoming more and more hesitant. We've seen the European Union lawmakers say that it's time that the Union reconsiders the $935 million mineral deal it has with Rwanda. So that's a starting place. And other countries are going to become more and more hesitant in buying minerals from Rwanda. As at the moment, there are no sanctions, so anyone is free to buy, but the perception of the country is tainted globally because of the fighting that is going on.
We're going to stop with the lies like right now today. They're going to always buy from Rwanda, whether there's war, conflict, deletion. I got to be politically correct. So there's no need for us to even entertain that nonsense. But what's going on in Rwanda is absolutely par for the course. There's always been conflict in that country. And that conflict has always been over minerals. As a matter of fact, the only conflict that was in Rwanda that wasn't over minerals, and maybe it was, but that wasn't advertised or broadcasted as the reason, was the Rwandan genocide that took place in 1994, where Hutu tribe members, unalived over 800,000 members of the Tutsi tribe. That conflict came to an end when a Tutsi rebel group led by none other than current Rwandan president, 25 years as president, Paul Kagame. He came in, he put down the Hutu rebels, and many Hutus, hundreds of thousands of Hutus fled into neighboring countries, primarily the Democratic Republic of Congo. Once they entered into the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Hutus, they created anti-Tutsi militias that continued to harass and oppress Tutsi tribe members in DRC. This is important to know because this is the issue that Rwanda and other countries such as Uganda and Burundi are using to justify their invasion or entry into the DRC. They're saying, we have members of our tribe, though nationalistically speaking, they may be citizens of DRC. Tribally speaking, they are citizens of the tribe. They are members of the Tutsi tribe. And Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda, they are all saying that these people are under imminent threat at the hands of the Hutu tribesmen who came over years ago and the militias that they have built in the meantime. In the wake of all this, there is a Tutsi rebel group known as M23 that rose to power in 2012, was able to capture a couple of Congolese cities, but they were unable to hold those cities. They were driven out by the Congolese army. Well, M23 is back. They came back with a vengeance in 2021. They were able to capture more Congolese cities, specifically the city of Goma and the city of Bukavu, and they are currently on a mission to capture the city of Uvira. The only difference is now they're stronger and they're able to actually hold the land or the cities that they capture. Many people, many people internationally and locally say that this is only because they are being backed by the Rwandan army, which some claim the Rwandan army actually has troops on the ground in the DRC, which the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, claims to know nothing about. He doesn't say no. He doesn't say yes when asked. He just says he doesn't know. We all know you know, Paul. It's all good, my brother. But this is the grounds upon which Rwanda and other countries that surround DRC are going into the country. But many people are claiming that it's really not over this. They're saying it's really about the minerals. We all know about the diamond mines, the mineral mines, the cobalt mines, the tantalum mines, the uranium mines. I mean, Congo should be the richest country on earth by a lot with all the mineral resources that they have. But unfortunately, they struggle to find a way to translate mineral wealth or mineral resources, an abundance of mineral resources, into resources or into revenue that will actually help the Congolese people, many of whom are living in extreme poverty. So Kagame is saying he's going, M23 and the Ugandans and the Rwandans are saying they're going in to protect their people tribally. Paul Kagame is a Tutsi. The DRC is saying they're only coming in because they want control over the the minerals and the mineral mines, right? The diamond mines and the mineral resources that are prevalent in the eastern part of the country. Now, there are two countries that hold the name of Congo: the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Republic of Congo. So one is the DRC and the other is the ROC. ROC, for now, they seem to be doing okay. Nobody's messing with them. But the DRC, that's the one where all the resources are, and that is the one that is in the news. So do I believe that this is a good idea for, the DRC to reach out to the United States and offer them exclusive mineral rights to protect the mineral wealth of the country from Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda? Also, they say they're using this language that they believe will entice the United States into the situation. It'll lure the United States into the situation, saying that if the United States takes advantage of their offer, that will ease or help to combat Chinese influence. So basically what we're looking at is if America doesn't come in to help, they're going to get help from the Chinese, right? I don't think right now Rwanda, Uganda, and Burundi combined has enough militaristic strength to overcome the Chinese in enough to where they can overpower the Chinese and take control of the mineral resources. So a lot of people are going to come and say, oh, America needs to stay out of the country. And we know what's coming with this. It's a very touchy situation for Black folk all over the world. But I'm just going to say it like this. I would rather America be in there with control over those minerals and those resources than China. For one, if China controls the mines, the cost of everything goes up for the West, for America. I live in America. I want to buy my camera like the one I'm using today. I want to buy that for cheap. My phone like the one I'm using right here. I want to buy that for cheap. My laptop, all that. I want the price to be right. On top of that, I don't want China to have control over uranium deposits, uranium mines. These things are used in nuclear weapons production. Also, energy production. If China gets hold to the uranium in the Congo, we might have a serious problem on our hands when it comes to America, because as you know, uranium, that's the source of nuclear power, which is the cleanest source of energy on Earth and the most plentiful source of energy on Earth, and an easily renewable source of energy. So I wouldn't like that. I also do not believe that China is very good in Africa, because there is no group or a recognized group of African people who are nationalistically speaking, Chinese. You don't have any large enclaves of Africans or Black people, period, in China. So I just feel like there's no real representation, no one to fight on the ground in the country in case abuses are taking place. Whereas in America, you have a significant number of African immigrants as well as African Americans who I believe will kick up dust if America abuses the people of the DRC in any way, shape, or form. You have Congolese people who are American citizens. How many Congolese people do you have who are Chinese citizens? Not many, if any at all. So I think letting a country come in where you have like boots on the ground within that country, people with rights who are citizens who can argue for you and go at the government legally if there are any abuses that take place, is an advantage. So I believe that I don't believe that it's a bad idea that DRC is courting America with this offer. Do I wish that we can handle it ourselves as Black folk, right? Do I wish we could come to a peaceful agreement as Black folk? Yeah, of course I do. But I just don't feel like DRC is doing enough to stabilize their country. And people might say, oh, these other entities are working to destabilize our country. But at the end of the day, the only way they can come in and destabilize your country is if the country is lacks stability, on a foundational level. I never hear anything from the president of Congo. All I hear is him play the victim and blame everybody else for his problems. But it's like, bro, if you can't do anything about it and it's everybody else's fault, then why the hell did you sign up to become president? You knew the problems before you became president, but you still want to get that pay. You still want to get that money. You still want to control those resources. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's up to no good, because that guy, it's hard for me to pronounce his name, but I really don't trust him, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my reasons for distrust are unwarranted, but there's just something about that guy that I do not trust. And I really, 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 really want to see Congo get on stronger footing. But as long as you have a situation where Tutsis are being harmed, they're being discriminated against, attacked, and oppressed just because they are members of the Tutsi tribe, you leave the door wide open for people like Paul Kagame in Rwanda to come into your country and fight on behalf of his people. I'm sorry, there is no expert on earth, I've done the research, who argues against the idea that Tutsis are being attacked, harassed, and oppressed in Eastern DRC. So it's almost like you're telling these people like Paul Kagame, it's almost like you're telling them, don't intervene, but we're going to keep on harassing and attacking and abusing your people, or allow Hutu rebel groups to continue to harass them, oppress them, and many times delete them, like unalive them, with no repercussions whatsoever. So DRC is in between a rock and a hard place. It's a rough situation. America is definitely in a tough spot because it looks like colonization 2.0, but it's hard to call it that when America is being courted. Donald Trump is being invited in, and DRC has a legitimate reason to want to bring him in. Now, will America coming in prevent Rwanda and surrounding countries from coming in to defend the Tutsi people? Who knows? Who knows, right? And I really believe it's a situation where DRC is like, we don't care if the other countries invade us. We just want to make sure that they don't get their hands on our resources. And that, to me, poses another set of problems. Like, so you care more about the resources, the mineral resources, than your people, because you're not there asking the United States to come in and help you prevent the Hutu militias from attacking Tutsi civilians. You're only asking for help when it comes to protecting your minerals. And I really believe that's the problem with the country. You have just too many people who are looking at the blood diamonds, right? Versus looking at the toll that is being taken on the in the human sector. The people. Do these Congolese kids have a chance at a better life? Is there a opportunity for Congolese people, adults, to have gainful employment, or to chase or take a path of entrepreneurship and really pursue happiness in that country? I really believe that gets lost in the conversation, because when you're talking about money, you know what they say, money talks and BS walks, and there's just so much money to be made in that place. It's really sad, and my heart does go out to the people of the DRC. It's argued that there are even Hutu extremists in the Congolese military. Recently, the M23 rebels handed over some alleged leaders of Hutu extremist groups. They handed them over to Rwanda to be dealt with by that country. So there's a lot going on in this situation. It all, in my opinion, sadly revolves around the resources, not the protecting of human beings. Rwanda, to me, is they're claiming that they're there to protect the Tutsi population. I hope that that is their real reason for being there. And I'm not going to lie, I don't have an issue with Paul Kagame even taking over the resources or the minerals, because I think he's the person who's smart enough to make sure that those minerals are exploited to the benefit of the people of Rwanda and of Congo. Who knows? Maybe Rwanda should just take over Congo. I think that could also be a workable solution. Some of the minerals that are up for grabs in Rwanda include cobalt. That's used for medical devices. It's a reactive material, a catalyst in oil and gas production. Also, it's used to build turbine engines, like for airplanes, and many high density metals, metals that are required to be like super strong. You also got lithium, obviously used for batteries, used in EV, electronic vehicles, cameras, in your mobile phone, your cell phone. They have tantalum, large tantalum deposits. That's used in all electric devices. It's used in making capacitors. They store and release energy, like what you see on keyboards, what you also see in batteries. It's a very useful material. They also have uranium that I said earlier is used in nuclear power, creating weapons, even used in medicine. And they have an estimated $24 trillion worth of these resources. I mean, the United States economy, whole economy, is only worth like $32 trillion. Imagine they have $24 trillion in resources and are so, burdened down with constant invasion and attack, they're not even able to exploit it themselves. That's just sad when you put it into perspective. But we're going to see what the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, is able to work out. I would say at this point, this guy is doing a stellar job. One of Trump's best appointments, if you ask me. I really can't wait to see what happens in this situation. But I personally do believe the United States is the best country for the job, because someone's going to get the job. And if someone gets the job, if someone gets the deal, I would rather it be the United States of America, because, hey, I'm an American and we got a bunch of African Americans over here and we're trying to build a relationship with Africa. That's the Pan-African perspective. On March 4th, 2025, Donald Trump gave his address to the joint session of Congress, where something that I thought I would never see in this country actually happened. I saw the opposition party, which I don't even believe in that term. How can you be an opposition party when we all want what's best for America? But they've taken that title. When the opposition party, the Democrats, refused to stand in honor and observation of many of Trump's amazing accomplishments. I understand that. You don't want him to get any credit for anything he's doing, whether it's good. If it's good, you only want him to get credit for the bad. But the Democrat Party refused to stand to honor people who represent what I would call the salt of America, as it's so lovingly termed. The people who stand out in this country for one reason or another, who truly make this country great. One of those people being the young man right here to my right, DJ Daniels. DJ Daniels is a young man, I believe he's 12 years old, who is a brain cancer survivor. I mean, this kid literally one day was having pain in his head. His father rushed him to the emergency room, and that night, doctors had to go into his brain and perform emergency surgery. he was told he only had 5 years to live, and he has actually managed to live far beyond that 5 year estimate. Well, DJ has always wanted to be a law enforcement officer. And in his local area, he was given the title of honorary police officer. But on March 4th, President Donald J. Trump bestowed upon DJ an honor that I feel will live with him. I know will live with him, or he will carry for the rest of his life. President Trump actually had DJ sworn in as an honorary member of the Secret Service. Now, I understand you might have your partisan disagreements, your positions that where you don't agree or align with the opposing party. But how can a group of people not stand for a child being given the opportunity to realize a dream that he otherwise might not have lived long enough, or might not live long enough to pursue? I mean, the kid has everything stacked against him. He has brain cancer, right? The kid is, obviously there's the question of whether he'll even live to be old enough to become a Secret Service agent. On top of that, if he'll, retain the brain function that will allow him to even consider or be considered when it comes to being a Secret Service agent. I just don't understand how people can be so heartless as to not be wanting to stand in celebration of that. It doesn't really matter to me who's doing it. Even if it was Joe Biden, I could still sit back and say, man, that's awesome that he took the time out of his busy schedule to acknowledge this young man and give this man something that he will carry with him the rest of his life. But DJ was not the only person disrespected by the Democrats that night. You also had the families of people who were victimized by criminal, illegal, alien migrants or immigrants into this country. I don't know if you all remember Laken Riley, the young college student who was simply jogging and a criminal, illegal, alien migrant ambushed her and viciously took her life for no reason, no real reason. Just a senseless act of violence that no one can explain. Well, we can explain it. Donald Trump explained it to us when he let us know that other countries were releasing people from their mental institutions and insane asylums and their prisons into this country. So when you look at what they're doing, you shouldn't be surprised at their actions, because we know that these people, when they entered the country, were not right in the mind. But her family was there at Donald Trump's address to the joint session of Congress. And those people, those survivors, should be honored as they carry on her legacy by allowing themselves to be presented to the country and used by Donald Trump as a catalyst for unifying this country under a banner of safety, security, and common good. Democrats wouldn't even stand up for these people. The Democrats wouldn't even acknowledge these people. Instead, what they chose to do, which is really crazy to me, is they chose to wave signs that, I guess these signs represented issues that they say that they're championing, saying that they're fighting for. I guess that's what they're doing. I'm not really sure. But what I know is these people, they really seem to have an issue with the country. They have an issue with, the choices who our country chooses to lead. And I've always thought that it shouldn't matter who we choose to lead the country. What should happen is once we've made the choice, everyone should rally around that person. But that doesn't seem to be the case with Democrats these days. Partisan politics seem to be the only thing that they are concerned with. And it's sad and it's really hurting their party, but this is the hill that they choose to proverbially die on. I'm going to play this.
But James, we don't do it in Australia for our big political speeches, but it's a real feature of US politics. This is using ordinary Americans in the gallery to amplify political points. This one in particular struck me today as really powerful. Have a listen.
Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are two illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn.
And look, he held up the executive order that he had just signed. He made the point too that the Venezuelan and Mexican gangs he has now listed as terror organisations on the same gravity level as Al-Qaeda. I mean, he did a number of these throughout that speech, James, but I thought they were particularly powerful.
Well, look, there were powerful moments. There was talking about Laken Riley, another victim of these illegal Venezuelan gang members. There was talk. There was all sorts of other heartwarming moments. There was a young boy with cancer who suffered brain cancer who dreamed of being a cop, and they made him an honorary Secret Service member there on the floor. There was all these really intense, emotional, heartwarming, heart-rending moments, stuff to make you angry, stuff to make you, go, because it was just a lovely, touching moment. Trump was in absolutely full flight in this speech. But the crazy thing about this, Peter, is how the Democrats responded. And they were so churlish during the whole thing. One of them, Al Green, got kicked out for...
Yeah, so the person who Trump was talking about was Jocelyn Nungary. He talked about what happened to her. I don't need to reiterate that. But her mother was in attendance at the joint session of Congress. And could you imagine being a mother and the president of the United States is on stage talking about what happened to your daughter, naming a area after her so that her legacy lives on. And the people who Americans elected to represent them sit there emotionless, like they couldn't care less about the tragedy that befell you, especially when that tragedy was directly caused by them. See, these people have lost sight of the fact that they are representatives of the people of the United States of America. And I don't know about you, but I know that this country is not that far gone to where people no longer have empathy for their fellow Americans. I'm sorry, but I know the people sitting at home watching that situation unfold were not proud of their representatives as they sat there emotionless as the president talked about giving a mother justice after her daughter was brutally unalived by illegal criminal alien immigrants who the Democrats allowed into this country with their open border policies. You can't tell me that being heartless is a representation of their constituents. We all know that this is not true. We all know that these people are putting their personal, partisan ideas and disputes in front of what the American people want. Let's play a little bit more of this.
Were yelling and waving his cane. This was the visual that they had during the speech. Others held up these stupid signs, and then they all got memed all over the internet. And they sat on their hands and didn't even cheer when, Trump announced the presence of, say, an American citizen who had been brought home from a Russian prison camp. They refused to even countenance applauding for that. It was so low rent of the Democrats. I don't know what the Democrats now stand for if they're going to sit on their hands for stuff that I think any decent human being would say, yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. And it's just that party, PETA, is in such a mess right now. And Trump put them in their place tonight.
Yeah, they lack decency. They're literally, these people are not only, being childish, but they are sending a signal to their constituents, basically telling them that it's okay to behave in this manner if you don't agree with someone politically. And I would say in America, to me, that sends a dangerous message. But I think that it also sends unfortunately, a real message. Because in America, there are too many people who place their own political ideology and ideas over what's right. I mean, you see them holding up these little, I call them church fans because that's what they look like to me. You see them holding up these little church fans, and they say silly, unproven things. Protect Medicaid. Save Medicaid. Musk steals. Protect veterans. Oh, this is false. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that it's the minority members of the Democrat Party who are primarily holding these signs. I keep telling you guys, the minorities, especially the African Americans, we're just the fall guys for the Democrat Party. I don't see any Caucasian members of the Democrat Party holding up these signs. I don't. Just the minorities, the African American women and the Latina women. Stop letting yourselves be used. Stop letting yourselves be used, right? They always tell you what's going on, but they never give you any proof. Musk steals. What has Musk stolen? What has Elon Musk stolen? And why does he need to steal it? Why does the richest man on the planet Earth need to steal from Medicaid or steal from Social Security or steal from the government? It doesn't make sense. He's rich as hell, right? There's this term, richer than God. He's richer than God, but he needs to steal from you? It's just a bunch of stuff that they keep throwing out there, I believe to be lies that they're throwing out there, hoping that the most hyper emotional among us will grab a hold to these lies and run away with them. It's a losing message. It's not helping them. And I really wish these people would get out of their own ego, and I wish they would get back to the business of running this damn country, working together to make sure that Americans have the best country in the world, because we are for sure paying for it. They're taxing us into oblivion, but we can't even get anything done. There's so much that needs to be done in this country, and it needs to be done now, not later, because they are taxing us now, not later, not down the road. Even our children are in debt, and our children's children are in debt. If we're gonna pay, you guys need to get to work. No one's paying you to go be a roadblock or be as stubborn as a mule just because you don't like Donald Trump. No one's paying you. No one sent you to Congress to do that. So just do your job, please, and work with the president. If other countries can work with him, our Congress, our opposition party should be able to work with him.
You look at Department of Education, it seems like so many buildings I ride by, it says Department of Education. They're all over the place. And we don't even want it. We want the education to be given by the states. It'll be much better. It'll move us to the top of the list from the bottom of the list.
President Donald Trump today taking another swipe at the Department of Education. Days after Linda McMahon, the Department of Education's new secretary, was confirmed. His comments come as the administration cancels $400 million in federal funding to Columbia University, claiming the school has failed to confront anti-Semitism on campus. Joining me now is the Hill's White House reporter, Brett Samuels. Brett, thanks so much for joining us. What do we know about this move to cancel these contracts and grants to Columbia University?
Yeah, Judy, this move stems from what we saw just last year when there were these, widespread protests on the campus of Columbia University that attracted national attention. This was, of course, stemming from the war between Israel and Hamas that, of course, decimated swaths of Gaza. There were protests on campus. President Biden, spoke out and even condemned sort of the more extreme and violent aspects of these protests, which had forced classes to be canceled. So, this is clearly the Trump administration sending a message to Columbia University, dating back to those protests and obviously tying it, as you mentioned, to this idea that they allege that they failed to protect Jewish students.
Linda McMahon sat down with News Nation today to discuss the administration's plans for the Department of Education. She had this to say.
The mission, of course, is the same, and the president campaigned on this. He's been crystal clear that he wants to see the Department of Education closed, and he'd like to see it done sooner rather than later. But he understands that we need to work with Congress. There are certain things that are in statute. It would take 60 votes in the Senate to close the Department of Education. And I think my job is to convince Congress that the steps that we are taking are in the best interest of the kids.
Okay, so Donald Trump has just stripped Columbia University of $400 million in federal funding. All of this stems from the situation that erupted last year concerning the situation over in Gaza, where Israel and Hamas terrorists are, they're at war. They're fighting. Pro-Palestine protesters actually took over student buildings. They actually took over buildings on campus, barricaded themselves in the buildings, and in a few incidents actually held people against their will. They wouldn't allow people to leave the building. That's called taking hostages. Now, a lot of people are like, well, why is he taking funding from the school for what some students or some protesters did? Well, the school, Columbia, would not allow law enforcement on campus to do their job. It's so crazy to me how we are finding out exactly how much power some of these public institutions have when it comes to whether or not law enforcement can overrule the administration of said campuses. When you have a hostage situation and you won't even allow the police department, the local police, to come in and basically protect citizens and innocent students who are caught in the middle of these protests, I believe you've lost sight of what the word freedom actually means. Because pro-Palestine protesters, they are free to protest, but the Constitution gives them the right to peaceful protest. And once you start barricading yourself in buildings, challenging authority, not allowing people to leave on their own free will, now you're doing more than peacefully protesting. I was actually talking to one of my friends about this, and it's so crazy to me how liberal voters, it's rules for thee but not for me, right? If the people on January 6th, if they do what they did, they're criminals, they're terrorists, right? They're insurrectionists. But when the people at the University of Columbia do it, then or on one of their campuses do it, then it's okay. Oh, they were just protesting. No, man, they were bombarding, they were barricading themselves in buildings, holding people hostage, and basically challenging authority, refusing to listen to the campus authority, the administration, and then later on refusing to listen to the law enforcement officers who were trying to basically protect people and protect students. There were also reports that these people were attacking Jewish students. So that's another element to this situation added. Are Jewish students just to go unprotected on college campuses because a bunch of people who, they would never move to Palestine, they would never sacrifice anything real for the Palestinians, because these people just want to be mad and they want to make someone pay because they don't agree with the situation that's happening over in Gaza. Newsflash, people, no regular person really has any power over what happens in Gaza. There's nothing we can do. I mean, you got kids there that just want to go to school and get an education, which is the reason your parents sent you there. And to try to stand in their way and stop them from receiving the education they pay for, right? To make something that you care about, magnify it, and then use it as an excuse to harm others. It's just, to me, it's sad and it's pathetic. It's sad and it's pathetic. And for the administration to know that this is going on and not allow law enforcement to come in and enforce the law to protect citizens, I believe that Donald Trump stripping them of the federal funding is totally warranted. And I don't believe they should get the funding back until they acknowledge that they are an institution of higher learning in the United States of America. They are not an institution of indoctrination, enabling, or appeasement, right? All these demands, divest from Israel, all this mess, right? That has nothing to do with getting an education in the United States of America. If you feel so strongly about it, you are welcome to donate to pro-Palestinian groups. You are also welcome to go and become a representative, right, in the United States government, so you can fight for what you believe in. But the problem is, neither one of the parties are going to go against Israel. Neither one of the parties are going to support, Hamas over Israel. So you're really just spinning your wheels. But it's these people, in my opinion, are just looking for something to care about. They're looking for a cause. They're looking for a fight to champion. And to me, they're just barking up the wrong tree, and they're just making our country unsafe. They're making the problems of another country or another group of people the problem of American citizens. And I'm sorry to say it, but most Americans just don't even care about that situation. Most Americans are working so hard to just survive. They don't even have time to look up and say, oh, something's going on over in Gaza. They're worried about how they're going to feed their family. And they're worried about how they're going to pay their kids' tuition to Columbia University. And I just think that when people do things like that, it's a slap in the face not only to America, but it's a slap in the face to all those hardworking people who basically have paid for decades so that you can have a place like Columbia to actually go to school and learn. It is an institution of higher learning. It is not the floor of Congress. It is not a courtroom. It is not a debate stage. It's not a place where you argue your position. Learn about the issues. But that's not where you go to fight for the issue, no matter what side of the argument that you fall on. So I believe Trump was totally right in doing what he did. And I hope this is a lesson to other universities so that they know what's going on. Let's tap into a little bit more of this video.
Meantime, more headaches for businesses associated with the tech billionaire and presidential advisor. Tesla dealerships across the country have been targeted with protests and even vandalism, and some Tesla owners are even reporting damage to their personal vehicles. News Nation's Nancy Liu is in Los Angeles with more details.
Well, the violence comes as Tesla employees around the world are on higher alert due to the activities of company founder Elon Musk. Many dealerships have been picketed in recent weeks and even targeted with criminal attacks. The latest violence in Tigard, Oregon, just outside Portland, where police are investigating vandalism involving gunfire. On Wednesday, at least 7 bullets tore into a dealership in an overnight attack, damaging 3 cars and shattering windows. No one was injured, and so far, no arrests. But in another Oregon incident, police have a 41-year-old man in custody. He allegedly targeted a dealership in Salem, causing major damage with Molotov cocktails in January, and then opening fire with an AR-15 style rifle last month. Oregon has been a hotbed for protest action against Elon Musk and Tesla, and there's a growing grassroots movement called Tesla Takedown. Lawful picketers are condemning any violence and vandalism.
You have a right to protest. We who served in the military said to give you that right, but not to up and destroy and shoot and burn and whatever. No, go protest. Stand up, scream and holler, get your bullhorn out, go do your thing, but no violence.
Protest actions in Boston and across the country in recent.
See, and this is the sentiment, right? Go do what you want to do. Go protest. Get your sign, get your bullhorn, go yell to the top of your lungs about what you're not happy with. But why do liberals feel it is okay to destroy people's personal property because they're not happy with an appointment? They're not happy with someone that Donald Trump chose to run Doge, right? You're destroying people's property because Elon Musk is exposing government theft and waste and corruption. I'm telling you, this makes no sense. Why would Americans be angry that someone is exposing how their money is being wasted, right? But it's like, some people, and we all know about this, we've all probably experienced this, even when it comes to like family, some people just can't handle the truth. And when you tell them the truth, their immediate reaction to the truth is anger. They really just don't want you to put the truth in front of them. They don't like it. It doesn't feel good, and they get mad about it. And it's hard to understand, but it's just one of the realities that we live with in this existence. Some people are angered by you exposing that you showing them that they've been taken advantage of. I remember that there's this old saying. I'm looking up right now. But basically, it says like most people don't report, right? That they were, most people don't report when they've been conned or taken advantage of because they feel embarrassed, right? They feel embarrassed to let people know that they got had or they got took. And that's what I think that the American people are suffering from. I believe that the American people they don't want to accept the fact that as resilient and amazing as we are, our government's been getting over on us. It is something that we've always known. It's something that people have talked about very publicly, and millions of people have acknowledged it, but there's something about having the proof put right in front of your face that just pisses people off to the point that they want to go out and protest. It's like the movie The Matrix. Please just plug me back into the Matrix. I don't want to know. I don't want to know the reality. I don't want to see the truth of what's all around me. But there are those of us who want to be, awakened. We want to, well, we're not even awakened. We want proof and evidence of what we've always known was taking place, right? We don't want to just be entertained. We don't want to be humored. We want to be informed. That is the transparency that the internet has afforded us. Now we get to know what's going on behind closed doors. Whistleblowers have a way to reach millions of people at a time. And we're not going to stick our heads back in the sand just because your grandma's upset. And if they start destroying property, they need to be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, because these same people were calling the January 6th rioters insurrectionists. The same people were calling for blood when it was the January 6th rioters, but now they're doing it, and everyone's supposed to just sit back and allow it to happen. No, this is different. No, you're right, it is different, because the January 6th protesters destroyed public property, stuff we pay for as taxpayers. You guys are destroying someone's personal property. You guys are destroying Elon Musk businesses and the property that his businesses own. That's not right. And then they're even attacking people's Teslas. So you're mad, so you're going to go and attack someone's car, damage and vandalize someone's car that they might need to take their kids to school with, or they might need it to drive themselves to their doctor's appointments. You don't know what these people have going on, but you are so full of yourself that you feel you are justified in destroying something that belongs to someone else because you're not happy that Elon Musk is exposing with Doge government corruption. I mean, some of these people, I just want, like, do these people actually sit down and think about what the hell they're doing, or even the way their thought process is working? They can't be, because if they are, they have to see, like, yo, what I'm doing is making no sense. And the worst part about it is you don't hear the Democrat Party saying anything about it. You don't hear them like telling their people, hey, this is not okay. This is not what we're about. This is not what we stand for. This is not the way to represent your cause. All you hear is silence, one, and then them giving like this tongue-in-cheek support. This like veiled like, I don't even know the word, but basically this like this indirect support of it, like encouraging it without coming out saying you encourage it. And we know even Hakeem Jeffries admitted that they are paying protesters. He admitted that. Even he admitted that they're paying protesters. He had a video saying, hey, we don't need to pay protesters. The
Democratic Republic of
the people are behind us. Why would you need to tell your party that they don't need to pay protesters unless you know for a fact that they are paying protesters? See, a lot of people don't pay attention, but none of this stuff is really hidden. He literally is like, we don't need to pay protesters. The people are behind us. Why do you need to say that? Unless you know that you're paying protesters. And I want to take a quick second to show that video, the clip of that video, because it's so doggone cringeworthy. It's like, what? So you're admitting that you're paying protesters? You're admitting that you guys don't have a leg to stand on? And this was on The View. They like trying to block us for showing anything with The View on
clip, and it's no disrespect to Hakeem Jeffries.
They try to block us anytime we show anything from The View, but I just want to show this quick, like 2-second clip where Hakeem Jeffries admits that they're paying protesters.
Votes will be there, the support will be there if they have a message that resonates with their constituents. And I want to play a quick clip, and it's no disrespect to Hakeem Jeffries, but this is what a losing message looks like.
What's wrong with y'all? You don't need to send paid protesters into your town hall meetings. The American people are with us.
Fire your social media person. There's no one behind you. Like, make it seem like people are with you. Make it seem like you want to be part of the team. But it seems like it's a lot of sign waving. It's disjointed messages. They can't decide what it is they're rallying around.
Everyone knows it. Everyone sees it. Everyone sees it. Shout out to my boy Greg Foreman. Yeah, everyone sees it. These people literally don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They're in chaos. So their constituents are in chaos. But instead of saying everyone needs to calm down, it's not the end of the world. You know, everything is under control. Trump is not the boogeyman, right? Instead of doing that, they would rather create this toxic situation where you have people out in the streets vandalizing other people's property. I just don't think it's cool. I'll never condone it. And, you know, it's really sad that, you know, the people who are here to represent us, is so sad that there is a segment of those people who would rather manipulate their constituents than actually support them and do right by them. I just hate that so much. Thank you so much for watching this. I appreciate every single thing you do for me and this channel. This would not be possible without you. I know this is a new style, but I appreciate you sticking with me, because you best believe your boy got a plan.